Very good morning. Welcome to the news at 10 here on the network service of the NTA. I am Claire Adilabu Abdulrazak.
Now, Musbat and Wahab, we are reaching you live from Abuja. Thanks a lot for joining us. The headlines.
First UK-Africa Investment Summit ends in London. Over £1.5 billion expected to create job opportunities across Africa.
The adoption of the Health and Social Protection Programme by the D8 member countries is therefore timely.
Nigeria and 7 other member countries of D8 sign agreement for implementation of Health and Social Protection Programme.
INEC set for conduct of 28 court-ordered by-elections in 12 states this Saturday.
Plus, Supreme Court affirms election of Benue and Adamawa states governors.
Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with the UK-Africa Investment Summit, which has ended in London, with the British government announcing initiatives worth over £1.5 billion expected to massively create job opportunities across Africa.
And the United Kingdom has also offered to mobilize private investment valued at over £2.54 billion for African countries. The Secretary, Department of International Development, Alok Sharma, made this known while declaring the summit closed. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Nigeria and 20 other African countries that account for over 80% of Africa's economy participated at the summit christened Partnership for Prosperity. Organizers believe that as Africa grows and develops, international partnerships and investment will be key to unleashing that potential and delivering a better future for all. United Kingdom wants to be that investment partner of choice for Africa, an ambition clearly shared by participants.
And as we get Brexit done, we want a closer trading partnership with African nations. Today, CDC has agreed new investments worth £300 million and are committed to invest a further £2 billion in Africa over the next 2 years. And what makes the UK different is our recognition that this huge investment needs to be felt by local communities across the whole of Africa.
Some members on President Buhari's delegation to the summit described Nigeria's participation as a worthwhile undertaking.
We've seen throughout this summit, there's been quite a lot of focus on Nigeria, and I think there's a realization that Nigeria is very much a market and a people that it's worth engaging with. And of course, we hope to see this translated into concrete investment.
We are likely now to begin to see a re-engagement that will be beneficial not only for the many African economies, but also for the UK. It means that Nigeria will have a head start in any rebuilding of business and investment relations with the UK. Nigeria can lead the way for other African countries to follow.
Some governors on the entourage of President Muhammadu Buhari used the opportunity to mingle and network with potential investors.
The 40 megawatts Datinko Dam that has already been finished will be commissioned soon by the president, and Gombe State is advancing ahead to provide an industrial park that will attract major investors. So far, we've gotten to a level of understanding, agreeing with development partners that will come and invest, especially in agro-allied processing and manufacturing.
At the tertiary level, we are also promoting Enyimba Economic City, and we are looking for companies that can provide infrastructure, both in areas of transportation and in buildings and roads, to match with our desire to do groundbreaking for Enyimba Economic City very, very soon. I'm satisfied and happy that within the first day of this conference that I was able to break through.
In a write-up making a case for Commonwealth based on trade, President Muhammadu Buhari called for greater UK engagement in Nigeria's economy, saying, as the largest economy in Africa with nearly 200 million people, it has a great deal to offer. He said millions of highly skilled, underemployed young people are eager to work, but without the opportunities that foreign investment can bring to create jobs and build businesses. From London, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Say from London, President Muhammadu Buhari, as part of commitments towards addressing infrastructure deficits in the country, especially in the power sector, has solicited continued support from the World Bank to improve transparency, service delivery, and investors' confidence in the sector.
Now, the President was in audience with the President of the World Bank on the sidelines of the UK-Africa Investment Summit in London. We have State House correspondent Adamu Sambu again with details.
Nigeria is at the moment enjoying a $486 million World Bank credit facility for the rehabilitation and upgrading of electricity transmission substation lines across the country, approved in 2018. The investments under the Nigeria Electricity Transmission Project will increase the power transfer capacity of the transmission network and ultimately contribute towards ensuring adequate and reliable power supply necessary for Nigeria's continued economic development. At this meeting with the World Bank officials, President Muhammadu Buhari underscored the urgency of reliable, accessible and affordable power supply as genuine efforts are made to take Nigeria to the next level of development. The World Bank, he emphasized, needs to do much more towards achieving the objectives.
The President of the World Bank sort of reaffirmed the commitment of the World Bank to continue to engage that Nigeria needs, financial support.
The current intervention by the World Bank being implemented through to the year 2021 is aimed at addressing key bottlenecks in the transmission network as well as improve access and reliable power supply to Nigerian citizens. From London, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And away from London, President Muhammadu Buhari has strongly condemned the terrorist killing of Lawan Andimi, chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in Michika local government area of Adamawa State, describing it as cruel, inhuman and deliberately provocative. A press statement by the East Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the president, in his reaction to the incident, expressed sorrow that the terrorists went on to kill the religious leader while giving signals of a same of willingness to set him free by releasing him to third parties. President Buhari consoles the Christian community all over Nigeria, the government and people and of Adamawa State and the bishop's family over the sad loss of a man of God, and assures that terrorists will continue to pay a heavy price for their actions and would comprehensively be defeated by the determined armed forces. President urged nations of the world to end all supports provided to Boko Haram and Islam in West Africa, Israel terrorist groups whose only goal is to sow death, violence, destruction in the sub-region.
And on to health matters now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo Tuesday received a delegation of the D8 Organization for Economic Cooperation led by the Secretary General Ambassador Datuku Jafar Sha'ari.
The Vice President expressed the Buhari administration's readiness to work closely with countries that share similar socio-economic objectives that increases economic opportunities and healthcare delivery to citizens. He pledged the commitment of the country to the D8's objectives. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Some of the major objectives of the D8 Organization for Economic Cooperation, better known as the D8 developing countries, includes improving member states' position in the global economy, diversify and create new opportunities in trade relations. The organization is taking further steps in achieving these objectives, first by enhancing trade among its member countries with a population of 1.8 billion. The organization's focus is now on health as a way to achieving this under its Health and Social Protection Program.
To me, from my personal view, and I've been saying it, Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. But sadly, now the connectivity is not there yet. We are building right now. But Nigeria can emerge to become a real hub for all these things.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo congratulated his guests on the signing of the partnership agreement for the Health and Social Protection Program, stressing that this was important for the country and for all the 8 countries. Nigeria's agreement as partner to this has attracted the sighting of the headquarters of the Health and Social Protection Program here in the country.
Basic idea is about not only providing the primary health care, but we want to see health sector helping all the member states to advance, the economic growth and development.
The program itself is meant to support the attainment of SDGs 1, 2, and 3 that speak to poverty, that speaks to hunger, and that speaks to well-being. You see, we are also looking at departing from the usual depending on aids to trade.
Established in 1997, the D8 is aimed at sustainable economic development and uplifting the standards of living of member states. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
And all member countries of the D8 have signed an agreement for strengthening commitment towards implementation of the bloc's Health and Social Protection Program. Our correspondent Usman Aliyu tells us details.
D8 organization came into being in 1997 with the agenda of economic cooperation, but the target for the economic sustainability the organization observed is affected by the dynamics of contemporary challenges such as poverty, hunger and diseases amidst growing population of the bloc. Sequel to this, the organization resolved on initiatives to uplift its people by amplifying pillars of health and social protection program. Now the deal has been signed with a high-level diplomatic agreement, citing the headquarters of the program in Abuja.
The adoption of the Health and Social Protection Program by the D8 member countries is therefore timely in assisting member states to reduce poverty and inequality, as well as boost healthcare delivery.
Resources will be leveraged to fund the key intervention pillars of health, nutrition and poverty, namely access to essential health services, improving the quality of care, governance and human resources for health, preventing non-communicable diseases and providing social protection.
A document on strategy that will guide the operation of the program is expected to be developed soon. In Abuja, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
From the judiciary, the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Samuel Ortom as the governor of Benue State and that of Hamadu Fintiri as the governor of Adamawa State.
And in a unanimous decision, the 7-man panel of justices led by Justice Bode Rhodes Viva dismissed the 2 appeals by the appellants for lacking in merit. Vera Chimamba was there.
In a unanimous judgment of the 7-man panel led by Justice Bode Rhodes Viva, the Supreme Court, in upholding the submissions of the respondent counsels, said it aligned its decision with the concurrent judgment of the lower courts. In addition, stated that the barometer for measuring overvoting remained the card reader, which was not proved. Counsel to Emmanuel Jime, Yusuf Ali, urged the court to nullify the re-election of Samuel Ortom on the grounds that the difference between the number of accredited voters recorded by the card reader machine and the number of votes recorded were at variance. INEC counsel E.E. Ugonna urged the court to dismiss the appeal because the appellants have no evidence, either documentary or oral, to back up the appeal. Counsel to Ortom Sebastian Horn said apart from the contradictions between pleadings and results declared, the appellant's case predicted on card reader machine lacked merit, as the card reader issue was struck out at the tribunal. Counsel to PDP Chris Uche said the appellant state suffered acute evidential deficiency both in quality and quantity.
Now the mandate given by the good people of Benue State to Governor Otom has been judicially approved.
The Supreme Court equally affirmed Amadou Fintri of PDP as validly elected governor of Adamawa State. The court held that the APC and its candidate Jibrila Bindo failed to prove their allegations that Fintri emerged through overvoting. Justice Mohamed Datigo, who read the leaked judgment, held that the appellant did not prove that voting from the disputed 385 polling units in dispute led to the victory of the incumbent. In Abuja, Viera Chimoba, NTA News.
And you're watching the news at 10 here on the network service of the NTA. We are live from Abuja. We have more news when we come back, including
INEC set for conduct of 28 court-ordered by-elections in 12 states this Saturday. Details of these and more after the break.
Communication technologies allow the free flow of information to and from one source and another. Are these sources authentic? If the sources are not verifiable, then it's fake news. Don't share, don't kill. Fake news kills. This message is brought to you by NTA News 24.
Welcome back. Now, the Sultanate Council has expressed appreciation to the people of Sokoto State for the maturity in not engaging in violence after the Supreme Court judgment on the governorship election in the state.
This came up when Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal paid homage at the palace. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports.
The homage on the Sultan by Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal is coming after the final verdict of the Supreme Court on his electoral victory. Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar said the sense of maturity shown by the people of the state is highly commendable, saying one of the political events that triggers political violence is political rally among politicians. He expressed happiness that the outcome of the recent development at the Supreme Court did not affect the stability and peaceful coexistence of the people in the state. The Sultan appealed to people of the state to bury their political differences by putting general interests of the state at heart for the overall development of the state. The Sultan maintained that many lessons were learned during the 2019 electoral processes and asked the people to use such as basis of taking state interests and maintaining sense of brotherhood ahead of political interests. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal told the Sultan that they were at the palace to thank the people of the state through him for their sustained support and prayers. Tambuwal also called on the supporters of other political parties to join his administration to develop the state for the better. Earlier, Governor Tambuwal was received at Sultan Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto, by his supporters. Thereafter, special prayer was observed at the Government House Mosque for his victory. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And from the INEC headquarters, Abuja, Mayor Ogidi reports that the new resident electoral commissioners have been sworn in, and that all is now set for the conduct of 28 court-ordered by-elections in 12 states this Saturday.
Keeping the new year behind, but the vacancies created by 2019 still form part of the INEC agenda for 2020. Resident Electoral Commissioner of Cross River State, Frankland Biriai, resigned to contest the Bayelsa governorship election, while the Resident Electoral Commissioner of Taraba State, Baba Yusuf, passed on, all in late 2019. So, 2 seats became vacant in the sitting arrangement at the INEC Conference Hall. After due constitutional procedures from the presidency to the Senate, Umar Mukhtar of Borno State and Alalibos Nikim Johnson of Bayelsa filled these vacancies in a brief ceremony that requires only 3 pens.
I will do right to all manners of people.
This solemn oath will be put to test few hours from now.
There will be election in Cross River State in 2 constituencies. So Dr. Johnson your work is clearly cut out right from the beginning.
28 court-ordered elections in 12 states on the 25th of January 2020, and INEC is set with the rules clearly read out.
There will be no substitution of candidates. I wish to assure Nigerians that the Commission is ready for the rerun elections. All sensitive and non-sensitive materials have been deployed to the states.
Handshake of commitment and smiles from the INEC chair to the regs, welcoming them to the election management body of the country. Mie Ogidi, NT News.
And stay with politics. Key players in the Sienu-Dim local government area of Akwa Ibom State have been told to properly educate their people to be of good conduct before, during, and after Saturday's senatorial rerun election for a peaceful and credible exercise.
Resident Electoral Commissioner Akwa Ibom State Mike Igene stated this during INEC stakeholders meeting in Sienu-Dim local government area, Akwa Ibom State. Kelvin Samuel was there in our reports.
The stakeholders meeting was organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as a platform to properly educate the people on how best to conduct themselves during the rerun election in the area. Addressing stakeholders, the resident electoral commissioner, Akwa Ibom State, Mike Igene, says the meeting became necessary as a successful election is a multi-stakeholders responsibility where all hands must be on deck to achieve success.
Guide the process as it relates to the umpire, security, will first and foremost be observed by us. And again, as it relates to the process, they shall be enforced.
Unlike hitherto, where you see young men and women invade polling units armed with guns and get away with it, this time around I have ordered my men to make use of firearms to disarm them, get them arrested and prosecuted.
Stakeholders commended the effort of INEC and security agencies while assuring that they will educate their people to play the game according to the rules, with the hope that INEC will deliver on its promises.
The meeting is unique in the sense that we are going to hear the do's and don'ts for the rerun election for giving us that confidence that the votes of the people of the Sienu-Dim will count.
The meeting, which was attended by party representatives, featured interactive section where the people were given the opportunity to bear their minds on issues. From a Sienu-Dim local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
We're talking more on politics. 9 members of the Imo State House of Assembly, comprising 2 PDP members, 2 members of the APGA, and 5 from the Action Alliance Party, have defected to the All Progressives Congress, APC.
And the Deputy Speaker, Oke Onyekanwa of the PDP, has also relinquished his position, leaving the seat of the Deputy Speaker vacant.
The 9 members of the Imo State House of Assembly who defected to the All Progressive Congress, APC, include 4 members from the Action Alliance, 3 from People's Democratic Party, and 2 from All Progressive Grand Alliance. This now increases the total number of APC members in the House from 1 to 10, as against 16 members from the PDP. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Oke Onyekanwa, has also relinquished his position, leaving the seat of the Deputy Speaker vacant for now. This is to give way to the House Standing Order, which stipulates that the Deputy Speaker must come from the same zone as the governor, going by the zoning principle.
The new governor in charge of Imo State, distinguished Senator Uzodimma, is from Oluzon. It warranted that the office of the Deputy Speaker will go to Oluzon.
The Deputy Governor is from Owerri Zone, and the Speaker presently is from Okigwe Zone. There is no way the House of Assembly in Imo State will have the Deputy Speaker from the same Owerri Zone where the Deputy Governor comes from.
The House has confirmed the appointment of Cyprian Akolisa as the Attorney General of Imo State and Commissioner for Justice. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
And the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has implored the Edo State chapter to work with all leaders at the grassroots towards a successful outing ahead of the governorship election slated to hold later in this year. This was at a reconciliation meeting with the caucus members in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The National Secretariat of the PDP was filled by the presence of party leaders from Edo State. Their visit was at the instance of its National Working Committee for a meeting which was behind closed doors. After several hours of deliberations, it was disclosed that one agenda dominated the meeting. It is reconciliation of all aggrieved factions.
We have resolved that we'll go home, work with our leaders and the grassroots. So at the end of the day, the Congress, which will start from the 1st of February, will be a huge success by God's grace. And all the stakeholders here were happy with the meeting. And we're one family.
Family talk, family meeting, everything is going well.
The meeting enjoined aggrieved members to embrace dialogue as the best form of dispute resolution. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA.